Trav, your host for today, and I'm with my special guest, Dr. Cassandra Owens. Dr. Cassandra Owens wrote a book entitled No Chains, No Fears. It's an exceptional book, one of my favorite in my collection. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, SUPA TRAV. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Thank you for having me on this podcast. I am elated to be here. Thank you, and thank you.
Good, I'm glad you showed up.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so where are you from?
So originally I'm from Tennessee. My born and bred in Jackson, Tennessee, a little town between Memphis and Nashville. My dad took a job at Fayetteville State, Fayetteville University years ago, and moved us to Fayetteville, North Carolina. So I am officially a North Carolina girl.
Oh, well, welcome. It's too late to say welcome. She's been here for a while.
Yes, indeed.
So how many books have you read? This is not only one, right?
This is my third.
Okay.
But this is my favorite. This is my favorite because I am, as you can see, a black male advocate. And I think that black men have been systematically oppressed since day one in coming to this country. Systems, not just from people, but from systems. And in spite of the oppression, they're able to rise above whatever they're thrown and thrive. And I am super proud of my brother. So that's my baby. That's my love book right there. It's my love letter to black men to say how much we appreciate you, how much we love you for always persevering, for overcoming, and never giving up.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the book. The book is a major page turner. I love a book that can draw me in, and I don't want to put it down. I actually sleep with this book by my bed.
Wow.
Yeah. So I get up in the morning and I turn on my lo-fi neo soul music. Got it playing softly in the background, and I read this book.
Wow.
Yeah, right after I say my prayers and meditate for the day, I start my day off with this book. And I remember sharing with you before that when I first got the book, I went out towards the back.
Yes.
Where you were speaking
Yes.
about black men as kings.
Yes.
And
yes.
that was where I started at, in the back, and then I worked my way back to the front and started reading back the way you wrote it.
Yeah, I say this all the time. I always speak to the king and the brothers that I talk to. In spite of the behavior that they're displaying, when I talk to a black man, I'm not to the king in them and the priest in them. So I always start right there. I teach, I'm an educator, and I work on a college campus. And the rumor is that black men do better in my classes. Now that's not really true, but that's the rumor. But it may be a little true.
Okay.
Because I make sure that I am imparting into them the things that they may have missed along the way. So I always speak to the kingdom brothers. I think that's just what I do. That's what I'm called to do. I always make sure that they're uplifted and that they know who they are in spite of the challenges that they face. That there's a king in there somewhere. You got to pull them out. And while the system has tried to oppress that king in them, it is my responsibility, or our responsibility, to make sure the king rises.
I like that.
Yeah.
And I can tell that from reading the book. That's what I felt when I read it. From page to page, I felt that somebody finally understands us. Somebody finally hear us. And you articulated everything that we all go through that we might not even be able to put into words. And I'm reading it and I'm like, how does she know? How does she know? Because it's like you're speaking from a male perspective and a male's experience. And I'm sitting here and I'm looking at this like, yeah, like every word, I'm like, yeah, that's it. That's it. You finally hear, somebody finally understands us. And I appreciate your book because we're in a climate now with podcasts where they try to put black women against the black man. And I don't need you, or I don't need her, or I make more money, or he don't have enough money, so I can't be with him.
Yeah, I don't subscribe to any of that. I think that we need each other. We need each other. We gotta have it. We are not complete without one another.
Right.
And just to give you a little background about me, I'm the only girl with 3 brothers.
Okay.
So I watched my brothers. And I wouldn't say they were suffering, but I watched them go through their changes silently. And I would always just go to this hug and say, hey, I got you. So I would watch them grow up in an era. I'm on the cusp of integration. So I went to integrated schools, but everything was segregated. My neighborhood was segregated, my church was segregated, so we went to school together, we were segregated. So I watched my brothers navigate that duality, if you will. And I felt them. Although I didn't understand what they were going through, but I felt what they were feeling.
Okay.
That's kind of from my background, why I think I'm called to this.
Okay.
Because I lived it.
Yeah.
I watched them live it.
Yeah. You could tell this book is written from a real life experience.
Yes. That was my goal.
And I've really got a lot out of this book, especially when you talked about Joseph.
Yes.
How he was sold out by his brothers, about his dreams, about he never let go of his faith. He stayed prayed up regardless of all the struggles he went through. And I have been studying Joseph for a few years. So right when you wrote it, I was like, this book is definitely for me. Why do you choose Joseph?
I chose him because in spite of all of the things that his setbacks, he rose to a level in Egypt that was second in command. And the same is true for brothers. You know, in spite of slavery, driving while black, being profiled, pipeline of prison systems, in spite of all of that, you all still rise to the occasion. Yeah. You know, we find a way. And I'm not saying that you did that without pain or without emotional instability, because I can't imagine what you go through, but you still find a way to rise. And that just inspires me to say, hey, we see you, we appreciate you, and thank you for striving. And just like Joseph never gave up, there are plenty of black people who never give up in spite of what they face. And I know it hurts. You know, Shaq one time I heard he said this, he said, don't ever let your woman see you cry. And I thought, wow, come on, Shaq, let me help you. Now, you might can't cry from like just your woman, but your queen,
right?
The one you are intimate with, the
queen.
one you are, you know, that know your insides and outsides, that's when you cry to. Your queen, because she's holding you up like a king. So yeah, when you find that one, that female that knows you, that you can trust, that knows your vulnerabilities, that's the one you cry in front of.
I like that.
You gotta feel those tears, because she can handle it. Now you can't cry with the side people.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
That's called soft feelings. Well, we don't do soft feelings.
But now the queen, when females read this book, because I've gotten this to the flip, it's not for females, but it really is. Because I want you to see men differently. I want you to see them as kings, as priests, as head of households, and that you as their queen. Because we need both roles have to be fulfilled simultaneously to make it work.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I totally agree with that. I mean, even in the game of chess, the queen is to protect the king.
There it is.
She's the most powerful player on the board, but she understands her sole job is to protect the king. So I like that. Thank you. So you did a correlation between your grandfather and Joseph in the Bible.
Yes.
So how did you?
Yes, so my great-grandfather, they're from South Carolina. And so my great-grandfather, he gets married. I'm sure they were sharecroppers. So he gets married to my grandmother, my great-grandmother, and they have a son, my grandfather. And then at some point, the white landowner begins to have sex with his wife. And she has 8 children by this man. 8. And they all named Owens. And I parallel that to Joseph because my great-grandfather leaves. He leaves the home.
Okay.
And I always think, I never met the man, but I think it's because I can imagine how you can sit there and watch another man have sex with your wife. And there's nothing you can do, nothing she can do. Ooh. And so he leaves. He let him come back and gets my grandfather and moved to New Jersey, right? So that's why I went to Joseph, because I think that when Joseph went to slavery, nothing he did wrong. He didn't do anything wrong. He just dreaming dreams, living life, wearing his coat of many colors, like my grandfather, met his wife, having babies, doing what they do on the farm or just a sharecropper. And this man just has sex with his wife.
Wow. And
I'm thinking, Dog, what does that feel like? How helpless can that, as a man?
Right.
We talked about this earlier. What kind of pain is that? How do you articulate that pain? And who do you tell? You can't do nothing. You know it's happening. she can't do nothing, and what do you do with that?
Right.
How do you process that and remain productive, and you remain sane? What does that look like? So that's why I want to make sure that when I say that, I say because I want again for black men to know that there is a pain that's there. It's probably generational,
Right.
and sometimes you don't even know what it is. But when we can articulate that pain and that sound, we can bring healing. All right, so one of my favorite parts of the book, one of my favorite chapters, you say, is me and carrying a sound. And I said because you remember when my dad could walk in the room, we're kids, we're playing, we got the knocky board out, we're playing hopscotch, we jumping jacks, and you remember Jack Rocks and all of them games. And my dad would walk in the room and everything shut down, and I said, leave it all. So men carry a sound, men carry an authority that the world needs. We need to feel that sense of presence that men carry. They just have it. And so in the book, I talk about the sound that's within and how much we need that sound. Even now, even today, you know, we need the sound that you bring to the room, your presence. It just kind of shuts everything down. The other chapter that I like is my affirmations chapter, where I give out daily affirmations. I want men to repeat these things, who you are. I think a lot of times we can internalize who you really are, not what society says you are, not what you've been told, not what you believe, but about what I believe you are. So I want you to say to yourself, I'm a king, I'm a priest, I'm good, whatever the affirmation may be. I want you to say it every day until you start believing that's who you are. You know, a lot of times I think as a women have to be careful about this because we'll say stuff like, you're like your daddy. You just like your so-and-so. And see, kids internalize that. They don't have the resources to process it in a way that says, they take it away. It becomes a part of who they are. And they believe they just like their daddy. You're no good daddy. We can't be saying about our kids.
Right.
So I want you to affirm who I think you really are, which is a king and a priest. I love that.
I like that. I like that so much. When I got to that chapter, because I'm real big on affirmations, speaking positively over life. I know people that have speak bad about themselves. And I would say, why would you say that about you? Like, if they say it about you, it's one thing, but for you to say it about you,
because you believe it, because you've heard it,
oh.
you internalize it. And you know it's called self-sabotage.
Yes.
You will kill yourself believe what other people say about you.
Right.
And it ain't even true.
Not even true.
Not even true.
Not even
you
true.
are way better than that.
And it came from a really dark place. Like you said about that trauma get passed on.
Yes.
Someone who don't love their self will say something about you based off their reflection of how they look at themselves. And if you keep listening to that or being in that environment, you start speaking that negativity over your life.
And it becomes part of who you are.
Absolutely.
And that's what I'm trying to combat.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to overcome. Trying to overcome all that negativity. The seeds that were illegally planted in your mind when you were babies.
Right.
Right.
Illegally.
Illegally
I like that. Illegally.
You know, one book says, "I know the plans I have for you." Right. This is how this is how I made you to be. The seeds were planted illegally, and they have sprouted up. We got to get them to the root.
I like that. I like that. You know, I was telling someone earlier today about like I don't listen to some rappers because when you listen to them, there was no words that I felt comfortable repeating.
Yes.
You know, it might have sounded cool. He might have a nice flow on top of the beat with what he was saying. But when I broke down what he was saying, I said, that's not me.
Right.
That's not me. That'll never be me. And that's not the person I want to be. I don't want to become that. You know.
And you want to be a role model
right.
to those coming behind you.
Right.
So you want to be able to say, no, that is who I am.
Right.
I ain't listen to that. I'm not going to subscribe to that and say, that's who I am.
Yeah. So I make sure that I always tell people who write, whether it's poetry, singing, rapping, whatever, to just write things that you can just catch yourself, your subconscious bring it back, and you just repeat it, just out of nowhere.
Yes, yes.
know?
Now, I'm a Will Smith fan, but what I like about Will Smith is this. He said in an interview one time, his grandmother, he was writing, his first started writing his raps, he was cursing. His grandmother said, Will, just remember, no, Will, people that use these words are not smart.
Right.
Listen to his songs,
right.
You know, he never uses profanity.
Right.
He's made millions. Now,
right.
I ain't a fan. I don't love him all his songs. All I'm saying is he does not use profanity to honor his grandmother. He's made millions.
Right, right. And you know, profanity a lot of times in music is a turn off because now you're not meeting a certain demographics that doesn't They don't listen to that.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
and you can use that word for something. There's so many words in the English dictionary that you can use
Exactly.
other than the 4-letter words.
Exactly.
But back to what you were saying about breaking the chains and affirmation and prayer and faith and believing that you are and you can constantly break that. Is that the steps? Is that the order in which it comes in?
I think so. I think it's not easy.
Okay.
And it's not a one size fits all.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's different. Everybody has their own individual process, their own individual journey. But you just start the process. And it may be prayer, it may be what your faith is. And faith, you know, it grows.
Mm-hmm.
It grows. But once you start to believe in yourself and continue to do that, you'll find yourself thinking differently and believing differently. And it's a process. And it's hard. I don't ever want you to think it's easy. Right? It's hard. It's hard to unlearn all that stuff that you've learned before in order to be somebody else, but it's worth it.
Unlearn.
It's worth it.
Okay.
Is that a word? It's unlearn.
Yes, unlearn. I believe that as you get older, you should unlearn all the bad stuff that you was taught.
Absolutely.
So we're gonna unlearn the bad stuff that was taught. No matter how good it feel for us or how much habit forming it created.
And you remember I watched the movie, I love Malcolm X, Spike Lee's version.
Right.
Right? And when he fights, the first time he prays, it's unfamiliar to him because he hadn't prayed before. And you can see the uncomfortability. And I like when Spike, he does a good job of showing you how uncomfortable it is the first time and how he feels. You know, you almost sense he's afraid, but he keeps doing it. And the more you do it, the more comfortable you become with it.
Right.
Yeah.
I think Malcolm X is a very good example for that as far as transformation of a man and childhood trauma.
Absolutely. I know you're wondering why I chose the barbershop
Mm-hmm.
to do this interview. I chose the barbershop because this is the one place where the brothers feel at home and at ease from any outside forces. To emulate that same feeling for the brothers in this interview.
That's right. So I love the book. This is the book. I got a copy. Are they out?
They're out.
They're out. Okay. How can they get in contact with you?
They can find me at my website, drcassandraowens.com. That's DrCassandraOwens.com.
Okay.
And I am starting in September my Sister for the Brothers book tour. And I'm coming to a city near you. I'll be in Chicago in September, Atlanta in October, and some other places around the country. So I'll be coming to a city near you.